Hey guys, and welcome back to the channel. Now, you've probably guessed, due to it being midweek, we are back with another The Good, The Scrap and The Scrip. And today we're going to be going into a weapon that I picked up the other day. It's definitely going to be doing some damage, I expect, and hopefully it won't get scripted by the end of the video. But before we get into that, don't forget to leave a like, a comment and subscribe, and get prepared for bullet hell. So this is today's weapon that I've obviously in bullet hell. It has the 2-shot effect, 25% faster fire rate, and the extra damage resistance while aiming. It's obviously a Gatling plasma. I've upgraded it with your rifled barrel and the beam focuser. Basically these boost your recoil and your accuracy, so in comparison with other stuff that I'm using, it's definitely going to boost the spread of the 2-shot effect, and hopefully it's going to allow it to do some pretty decent damage. As you can see, it's got 129 energy damage as not as standard for what I've got on there. It could go higher if I added on the prime receiver, but obviously the ammo for that is a little bit more expensive to craft, and for the sake of this, not exactly going to add world-breaking damage. So no matter what you see here, there's obviously more damage than this can actually do if you optimize the build, have a bit more perks on there, and obviously go for that prime mod. Now, like previous videos involving 2-shot heavy weapons, I don't recommend that you're using them outside of your power armor. You're going to get a lot more utility, a lot more power from just using them in power armor, and ideally if you're in first person mode. I just feel like the gun is going to be a lot more accurate. You get a lot more control over what it's doing, and overall I feel it's the better way to go. This gun in itself, it's got insane fire rate to begin with, insane ammo capacity. The damage output on it is not bad, as you can see up against supermutants, and they are not surviving very long. It's damaging at range, and it's very damaging close up. The big problem I have with power armor though is making sure my health stays afloat. But yeah, it's completely mincing these super mutants, and that's regular level ones or max level ones. So definitely a gun that is going to deal some damage in some close quarters and in general. So let's go into some of the plus points of the weapon. Well, first off, the ammo is the plasma cores. It's basically like a fusion core, but essentially plasma, if that makes sense. That means that it's relatively cheap to make. It doesn't take a huge amount of resources, and with each core you're getting, it varies at times. Some of the cores that they make are going to have lower ammo capacity, and I think it's up to 500 that it can be. I'm not sure what affects you making the ammo capacity larger or not, but in general, if you can have all of them at 500, that's going to be a crap ton of ammo for you to use, as you can imagine. And because of that, yeah, you're not going to go through a lot of resources if you need to craft the ammo yourself. Then there is the damage. As I said earlier, it completely minces stuff close range. No enemies are even lasting very long against me because of a combination of the build that I'm using, the fact that I'm in power armor, so the effects that I've got on there are boosting the damage and armor penetration. So yeah, 100% like one of those weapons that just destroys everything in its path. Now, for the downsides, obviously it has a slight wind up on the weapon, and by that I mean if you watch me shooting, it doesn't immediately start firing. So if you're out of power armor and getting staggered or knocked back, or just your limbs being damaged, this is all going to affect that, and that can be a very fatal downside. So once again, it's a weapon that is best used in your armor. You don't want to be doing this and getting yourself completely destroyed outside your power armor. And with the legendary effects coming into power armor in the near future, it's only going to get better. So yeah, it's gonna make me have a lot of reason to either craft or find legendary power armor lying around for definite. I can only hope it's going to be some good effects. Now, if anybody's seen my build before, it's pretty much a standard heavy build. You've got bare arms for the 90% less gun weight. Heavy gunner I've got on here just for that extra damage on non-explosive heavy guns. Locking load for the faster reload speed. Bandolier I could replace when using this specific weapon with more like expert heavy gunner and heavy gunner perks just to boost my damage even further. Same with ordnance express because it's not explosive ammo, and then you've got blocker on here for that less melee damage. Now in here I've got concentrated fire. Again, I don't really need it for this particular weapon, but I do tend to use it with some of my other ones. Grenadier is not needed as well. If you were wanting to optimize the damage for this weapon, you could obviously move the perception perks onto one of the other trees just to kind of boost your damage, but yeah, there's no real disadvantage or advantage to moving stuff around at the moment because I pretty much have the max perks that I can get anywhere on that tree. Then you have charisma. Obviously I can have tenderizer to boost that damage by an extra 10%. More relevant on the bigger enemies than on the smaller ones because it takes a couple of seconds for this to activate, obviously, because you need to actually hit the enemy before it'll have any real effect. Then you've got Nerd Rage and Stabilize. So Nerd Rage increasing my damage by another 20%, and you know, giving me more damage resist. Then Stabilized in power armor, I get more accuracy and I ignore 45% of the armor. The most important perk by far because of that armor penetration and because of the fire rate. It's just going to completely mince anything that you come up against. Then we've got Demolition Expert. I can take that off in regards to this and put on Gunsmith just to reduce the way the weapon's getting damaged. Explosive is only going to matter if I had a legacy, which I don't, and yeah, there's nothing wrong with that. Then we've got Evasive, extra damage for agility point, extra damage resistance for agility points. Adrenaline, if I'm killing loads of enemies, it's just going to ramp up my damage by even more, up to 60%. And then we've just got dodgy, just so I am using my action points to avoid damage. Because I am primarily a bloodied build on this character, I've obviously got mutations that help that as well. Now in the last tree we have Bloodied Mess, another 15% extra damage, 1 gun army, 12% stagger, and 12% chance to cripple a limb, which is very good when you've got a weapon that's spitting out bullets like nobody's business, because each time I hit them there is a 12% chance of each of these, and if I'm firing 500 rounds into their face within a matter of seconds, you can imagine that is going to take effect pretty damn quickly. Then we've got Serendipity, just to avoid 40% damage, no wait, yeah, but 45% to avoid all damage. I'm losing my mind today. It's one of these days where I've been working quite a lot. I've my little boy's sick, so a little bit of brain hemorrhage going on in my head. And yeah, just the usual perks. There's obviously a lot of things that could be swapped around and messed about with this build, but this is literally a build that I'm using for so many different types of heavy guns that it's impossible for me to have it optimized when I'm farting around with builds and things like that. In the near future, when we are able to move our special perks around at basically a whim, it'll be a lot easier, so I'm looking forward to that as well. So, as usual, we're back with our big friend, the super mutant Behemoth. Come on, wake up, big fella. And I'm just gonna destroy his world. As you can see his health is going down relatively quickly. I'm not even headshotting him. Yeah, absolutely no problem at all. And I waited for him to wake up. So yeah, this gun definitely slaps super mutants into the ground like they're nothing. 30 seconds. That's quite a good one. Alrighty, so let's see how quickly this melts her down. Jesus Christ, that is quick. That is very quick in comparison to quite a lot of stuff I have been using. Yeah. The queen gets vaporized. Easily vaporized. And yeah, I'm quite happy with this weapon. But how about this time we try it on something bigger? So, as you can probably guess by what's going on in the background, we're going to test it on something a bit more deadly. The Scorchbeast Queen. Alrighty, Scorchbeast Queen time. And yeah, she is definitely one of the biggest, toughest enemies in the game. Let's see how this weapon does against her. Now, I've tested this weapon out a couple of times here, and you can see when I'm firing how quickly the health is going down. It is not just my imagination, because if I stop, look how much it slows down by. But when I'm firing, there's a noticeable difference in the rate this thing's dying. I would dare say I'm doing more damage than all of these people combined. Granted, there's quite a few low levels in there, but I'm definitely doing a significant amount of damage. And I'm not anything special in comparison to my build, outside of this weapon is borderline just... it's just a very good weapon. The combination of effects is good, and up close with the effects that I've got on, it's definitely going to be putting in the work. Don't get me wrong, you do not... What the hell is going on? You don't want to be using this weapon outside of power armor, as I've said repeatedly during this video. I don't know where she's went. Did she just go into Narnia? And don't get me wrong, this weapon isn't as good as some of those crazy broken hacked weapons or the top tier weapons in the game currently, but it's up there. It's definitely creating some decent damage. I'm able to kill just about any regular enemy with literally no effort. And the big ones, I'm contributing is the factor I would put in there. For getting my damage on the Scorchbeast Queen, I'm going to be able to get that in a couple of seconds easily against her. So if I'm ever in a situation where somebody's going to completely annihilate her, it works that way. Now, the last question I always ask in these instances is, how does it do in daily ops? Now, judging by what it did to the super mutants earlier, and this is a super mutant day in daily ops, yeah, how's it going to do? I think it's going to do very well. In terms of ammo, I don't think it is... Yeah, I don't think I get the ammo from... No, I just get random ammo. So you're not going to gain any real benefit in farming ammo on here, but the enemies die quick, so you have that advantage that you're going to mince stuff. And there's also the fact that because I've got adrenaline, it's going to boost that. It really comes down to, I think, how well it does against the big boss at the end. How quickly is he going to die, because everything else just gets completely vaporized. So we have the big bad boss coming in, and let's see how well this does against him. Where is he? Oh, he's over here. I am being a dumbass. Please don't kill him before I get to him. That would be very disappointing on my side. So my little friend is not killing him particularly quickly, but as you see, when I unload on him, it is taking him out relatively fast. Definitely one for daily ops. Jesus. As you can see, yeah, kills me. Oh, what the shit? So overall, I think it's been quite a successful test of the weapon today. It's quite an all-rounder. It can do just about anything and kill just about anything in the game. Obviously not to the insane level some of the other weapons that are in existence, and builds obviously, but yeah, it's definitely up there with one of my new favourites. Then again, I am getting more and more favourite weapons as this series goes on because I'm just finding a whole new world of random crap I can use. But that is the whole point of this series of videos. Now, if you did like today's video, don't forget to leave a like, a comment and subscribe. It really helps out the channel, and especially if you want to see anything specific in my videos, don't forget to comment about that. I am more than happy to accommodate people when and if I can, depending on time. But with that, we'll catch you all next time in the Wasteland.